कौरव 100 और पांडव 5, तीजा आए तो 105. I'll translate that for you who don't understand Hindi, that there may be 100 Kauravas and 5 Pandavas, but if an outsider comes, then there are 105. That is the attitude that all of you must have with each other. This is a foreign country. At times you do face trouble. If there is an Indian in your college, in your community, in your area who is facing issues, step forward and help them. And if you are in need of help and there is an Indian around, well, remember we are 105 together. Step forward and help them. If there is an outsider, all of us must be united. We are stronger united. There are 150,000 of us now coming here every year, right? All of us are united. We are a pretty strong branch. Difficult for people to bully us.
Networking is very, very important, especially in the UK, because when you're looking for a new job and there are hundreds and hundreds of people who are applying for the same opportunity, the employers are much more likely to choose somebody who is more aligned to their way of thinking, who actually understands what they are looking for. And you will only be able to find out when you network with people, go to these job fairs, these open houses, and events like this, where you understand what the employers are looking for. So that when you actually do the application and when you are actually in front of them, you will say the right things, you will do the right things in order to make yourself stand out from the competition.
A formed charity, part of the Financial Times group. It's called the Financial Literacy and Inclusion Campaign, but we call ourselves FLIC, that's F-L-I-C. So if you hear me referring to that, that's what that stands for. So I have 10 minutes to speak to you, and it got me thinking what's really the most important information I can impart to you as you start your perhaps independent lives away from home for the first time in the UK. Now, I really don't want to be what British people call a Debbie Downer, which is somebody who's miserable and brings bad news, but it would be remiss of me not to give you some cautionary advice for your time in the UK. One of our target groups, we call it marginalised communities, but it's really anybody who struggles to access mainstream financial products or information, and that can be for reasons of familiarity, being newly arrived, or perhaps a language barrier. So it's really important that we kind of think about the ways in which we might be vulnerable as we land in the UK. Now, as the cost of living crisis has raged, people are desperate, and there has been a real increase in scams and fraudulent activities. And in the world of AI, they are ever more targeted and sophisticated and realistic, and even the smartest, most savvy people among us have fallen for them. So I want to just share a couple of things that I would really like you to be wary of as you embark on your lives as students here.
I will say this, that my own sense of what it's like to be a student here, and admittedly this is a lived experience from friends, children, and my own in that sense, is that the boundaries of experience in universities outside is quite different from boundaries of experience in our own universities. So this is something that is really your magic charm, your mantra, your secret weapon, so to speak. If you use it well, it is the best thing you will ever have done. And to use it well, it is really important that you and your friends, people whom you came here with, do your best to try and absorb as much of the experience of living in these universities as possible. I thought, for instance, the fact that you could actually, subject to your being able to prove it, challenge what is being taught to you, not just for the sake of being argumentative, but on the basis of evidence that you can put forward quality research to back up your arguments, that will make you a really valuable citizen for us back home in India, because it will make you free thinkers, a freer thinker, let's say, and it will give you an opportunity to contribute even more to the transformation that's underway in India. I've served the government of India now for over 31 years. My colleagues have all been in government for a number of years, but you don't serve India by just being in government alone. Each of us as citizens of India carries fundamentally in our hearts a great deal of pride about being Indian. And we don't even have to, I don't need to list the reasons why we're proud of being Indian. I'm sure everyone has his or her own list of that. But what I do want to tell you is this: never lose faith, never lose that sense of fierce pride in our tricolor, never lose the sense of identity of who you are and the culture and the heritage in all its diversity that we represent. We are the most diverse nation on the planet. We are a democracy because we choose to be one, not because it is the gift of anybody else, and because it is our democracy that holds us together. Every single member of our diversity, every single facet of our diversity represented through every single citizen of India is the reason why we are the most incredible democracy on the planet. Whatever our problems might be, and God knows we have a few, each of these is well within our capacity to solve indigenously amongst ourselves in a discourse amongst family members. Do we as family members back home on our dining tables not have shouting arguments sometimes? Of course we do. But does that mean we need other people to come and resolve our problems? 99.9% of the time, never. We in India have always believed that our greatest strength is our ability to solve problems through dialogue, through samvad, right? Vivad is also fine, but samvad is the tradition. And samvad, basically, the big difference meaning it is contained, it is amongst ourselves, it is amongst the family. So my only suggestion to all of you is never forget how much we have achieved. Never forget that when we became free in 1947, 90% of the population was below the poverty line. No other democracy in the world, no other democracy, not in the advanced countries, became a democracy, a full democracy, with rights for every one of its citizens from the get-go. Everybody else became prosperous before they became 100% democracies. Remember this, even the women didn't have the right to vote in a number of advanced countries while they became prosperous. We started out with 90% illiteracy, with 90% poverty, with 16% literacy, with a violent partition that had uprooted millions of lives and lost millions of people. With all of those going against us, we became a democracy from get-go. There is every reason to be proud of that. There is every reason for you to believe that you're here to do the best you can for yourself, but you have no reason to believe that you are nothing less than the best that can be brought out and shown to the world as examples of an ancient civilization and a modern nation. We are proud of you. You are our future ambassadors to the world. You are the young women and men who will make India the story of the 21st century. Thank you.